Hey, everybody. It's Jeremy from Jeremy.net. I am a comic book artist, writer, creator, self publisher, and I share my creative process here with you online. If you enjoy these live streams, like to get additional bonus live streams twice a month, you can become a Patreon subscriber for as little as $2 a month. Head on over to patreon.com/Jeremy. It's patreon.com/GERIMI. If you'd like to get a free digital sketchbook, work in progress animated GIFs, blog posts about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what's inspiring me creatively, you can sign up for my free newsletter at substack.com/@Jeremy. And if you'd like to purchase physical copies of my comic books, or if you read digitally on Kindle, you can go to amazon.jeremy.net. I'll forward you to my Amazon author page. All right, so today is a bit of a weird one because I'm sort of, some days you're just sort of like out of the flow. And it's been a while since I've had a day where I woke up and I'm like, I don't feel like doing a damn thing. I don't know if it's the itis from the turkey just carrying over the Thanksgiving holiday, but for whatever reason, this is an unusual day in that I don't have like something completely set up that I'm eager and ready to dive into. I was going to pick up on what we were doing last week, where I was relettering some old pages from Morningstar and relettering them for sort of a vertical scroll format for mobile devices. And I see my boy Kingslow Fitness in the chat. Speaking of weird ones, good to see you, brother. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. Welcome. Good to see you. Oh, wow. Yeah, so that's nice. All right, that's already got me jazzed. Anyway, all right, what was I gonna do? Okay, so here's what I was gonna do. We talked a little bit about kind of taking wherever we're at on a project and trying to move it forward a little bit. And Amar gave us a little bit of homework in terms of like just taking whatever you're working on and just get, whether it's just 3 panels or if it's an animation, 3 storyboard frames, whatever it is that you're working on, taking a little bit and trying to move it forward. And I'm going to end up switching devices because I'm going to switch over to my tablet and then I'm going to switch back to my desktop computer because I need to actually find the template that I'm looking for. But let me see here. This is what I mean by weird one. Normally, I try to be really organized and have everything set up so that everything I do is smooth or seamless or just relatively less chaotic. Jeez, I've got a lot of cat fur on my shirt. Wow. All right. Here we go. Screen. Well, that's odd. It should be sharing my tablet right now, and it's not. Huh. That's new. Maybe if I unplug and replug. This is why I try to usually have everything organized, because when I don't, and I don't test things ahead of time, this is not a situation of there being screen lag. This is just, it's not even showing my device at all on here. Huh. Let's see here. Kingslove Fitness says, I've been busy drawing with both tablet and on the computer via Krita. Said Affinity has been bought out by Canva. I'm sure you know. Yes, I do. He says it's laggy on my computer. Krita is the issue on my computer. I've heard very great things about Krita. Corey Kerr, member of the community, has been posting some great videos on his Substack, sharing his process. of switching, because he's building a monopoly free computer workflow, trying to use both hardware and software that's not created or owned by any major conglomerates. So he's using open source software, running a laptop running in Linux, and I believe he's been working with Krita. See here. I see Herman's in the chat. He says, "I'm here, peeps, just trying to fix my lagging Windows 10 setup, but it's working regardless." You know what? I'm going to try switching cables here with my, you know what? I realized if this isn't working, the tablet part, I might as well just do the other thing I was going to do, which is instead, let me open a new window or a new tab here. And because I need to open the new tab first before I can share it. All right. Where is my printer? I'm looking for is templates. So, all right. Share tablet or share tab. This is what happens when you get too many tablets open. Oh, I see. It's because I didn't intend to do it that way. Amar says, "I'm feeling a bit wary about the homework participants." Well, so far it was just Amar and I honestly didn't do any extra work. It's more like I posted what I was working on before. Well, hang on a second, and I'll let me grab what I was going to grab and share with you guys. And then if you want, Amar, I'll pull your stuff up and we can talk about it. And we can talk about it through the chat. If you want to hop in on StreamYard, I sent the link in the Discord server. But what I was getting ready to share is let's see here. Share screen. Let's see here. Oh, hang on a sec. Before I do that, I see Herman's said, "Where do I post that?" I have to scan some stuff in. There's a link in under the posts, the community section. What? I'll post it on the Discord real quick. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna add Amar in here. How you doing, man? It's gonna take him a second to get his audio up. But meanwhile, Herman, I'm gonna grab the link. Well, actually, you know what? You don't need a link. In our Discord server at the top, there's one channel that's called public live stream. So that's just sort of, I made that for anybody who's watching on YouTube who isn't a Patreon subscriber. If they wanted to participate in sharing their work in this, there's a place for that. So just go in that channel on Discord. You can post in there. I got Amar says, "Just trying to get out of limbo." I feel you. I feel you. You know what, Jim? No one's ever done before. He says, "Have a Merry Christmas." Doesn't roll off the tongue. I can see why people haven't used it.
Jerry Mary.
Jerry Mary. There we go. Thanks. Thanks, Jim. Oh, how you doing, Amar?
I'm all right. Do you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, you're coming through. You're coming through clear. So what I was going to do real quick is let me share. Oh, Herman's here too. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm good. What's up, y'all? I'm like, yeah, I just need the what's good? Yeah, I just need the I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and wrap. I just need to like scan in some stuff where and post where I need to post that. So I'm gonna be silent for a minute, but I'm gonna be listening. I'll probably be typing up in the on YouTube or something like that until
All
I
right.
get situated. All right.
Okay, cool,
Peace.
no problem. And let's see here. And Kingslow Fitness says, I need to get on, go in on that homework. I'm guessing via the Discord. I got to get back to the Patreon subscription. Well, the nice thing is I created a channel on Discord specifically for people that aren't patrons, so that's like kind of a public access. Everyone can get in there and post stuff. So I'll send that link. That link is in the community post. Yeah, it's in the community tab on YouTube. I put a post with a link to there, so you should be able to jump in.
Yeah, also, Herman, that link been up since last week. Jeremy put it up last week.
Yeah, if the link is dead, let me know because the links do expire after a week. So
yeah, you can also set it to be permanent if you want.
Did not want it to be permanent.
Oh, okay.
Well, because sometimes if you just leave a link out there, then after a while you start getting spam leaking in and people coming in and posting crazy stuff. So I figured put it up there. Whoever signs up in a week signs up. And then if people are like, hey, I missed it, can I get in? I can post it for another week. And that way it's just we keep it a little bit more controlled and it'll keep. I don't want it to turn into the Wild West because moderating a Discord community full time, like when it's patrons, everyone there is coming in with the approach of, hey, I'm opting into this community. I'm making it a point that I want to be in here. It's worth, So when you have something that's kind of an unwalled garden and anyone can just roll in, it's like then moderating that becomes a full-time job. So making it something where I post a link, people can come in after that link expires. People just have to ask me, and I can keep who comes in a little bit more controlled, and that means less moderation on the back end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine.
You're like, whatever. I don't need all that jibber jabber. Well, the only thing I was going to show you guys real quick before we jump into Amar's is that let me see here. Present share screen. So what I needed to do was look for a template and I'm switching over here. So this is the printer that I use for single issue comics. And it's a company called Comics Wellspring. And I really am very happy with them and their printing work. And I have a template. They have templates on their page, on their website. And what I'm trying to find now is the template that I already have is on my iPad. And I will tell you this, the one thing about Procreate is that it is not good at consistently transferring files and maintaining like your print dimensions or your pixel dimensions. It'll just like export out in kind of like whatever size it wants. So I want to make sure that I have a print template on my desktop. So what I was trying to do is go in here onto this company. Here we go. Start with the correct size templates. They have like a whole section on templates for comics. And I am picking manga templates because the size that I use, well, no, this is 5.7. I think they had a 5.8 size. 8.5 by yeah, okay. Now it's trying to give me all of these graphic novels. That's not what I want. There was a very specific file size that I wanted, which is the size I currently work at, just 5.5 wide by 8.5 wide. And I know that they have a template for that. I just need to find it in here. So that is what I was doing, was looking for template. Here we go, specs and templates. So select size. Here we go, zine size, 5.5 wide by 8.5 tall. That is what I wanted. So I can just download this. So I wanted to download this to my laptop. And this is also, it might be a little bit boring, but a lot of times you guys are wondering, well, how do I go from my idea and my thumbnails to actually making a comic? The next step is deciding what size you want to print it, reaching out to a printer and getting getting a template that you can use and then start dropping your work into. So let me see if you guys can still see what I have on screen. Yeah, okay. So I've got this template on my computer. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thumbnails that I have and I'm going to drop them into this so I can properly create panel frames. So that's what I'll be sort of working on in terms of today's stream. But with that, I can switch over now to the, Amar, if you want, I can pull up the work that you shared in the Discord when we started talking about the idea of doing homework, or if you want to share directly from your computer, I can take my screen share off and let you share if you want. What would you prefer?
It's your call, man. It's your show.
Well, I try to be a hospitable guest. All right. Well, in that case, let me switch over now to Discord.
Yeah, I also been working on the character model, but it's so raggedy. I share them anyway, even though they're raggedy, just to show that I was working on them. Because one of them was basically using sort of like the AI image, but the drawings are so raggedy. But I share it anyway. I just copied it, paste it in there.
Okay. All right. Well, then let me go to. Here we go. Pull up the Discord. All right. So what we got in here, and by the way, Kingsville Fitness says that's great for printing artwork. The other nice thing about having a printer, they can give you a cost per issue. Like they have a printing calculator to kind of show you how much something will cost before you're able to dive in and start making it, because it also helps to know how much you're going to sell stuff for, whether it's selling at a convention or whether it's running a Kickstarter campaign or what have you. Let's see here. All right. So I see, okay, you posted the character designs in there. So let me scroll back up to where you've got first originally the storyboards that you shared. So the idea of this, you want to tell folks what your project is that you're planning here?
Yeah, so last year, I think it was last year, I was telling you about, trying to break down, because we've been talking about this scale down. And last year I had said, I'm gonna just take like 25 ideas. It actually ended up being about 50. And then I had sort of used, like, I know people kind of frown when you say AI, but I use AI along with it to create like some scripts. So I took my ideas, used some scripts, and then also edited the script to make it more my own. And I did like 25, I think I got about 50 of them. So I got about 25, 50 of them. And then they all are 1 to at the most 3 pages. This is one of the ideas. It's called Maggie Meets. And basically, I started thinking about more of the story before, because you said what you probably do is either use animation or 3D or whatever and do it as like an intro. So I was saying that this would be like, it's based on an actual real town, Watch Hill, Rhode Island. So it's, I don't know, I think it's sort of like a middle class neighborhood or whatever. And I don't know if it's in the Midwest. I don't know where Rhode Island is, but what happened is you start out with this intro image is nice and pleasant, and then it sort of like the mood changes, and you look. It's going to actually end up being like Maggie Meet. So I actually put in Discord a Pinterest as well, that they can look at to see like the images that I've been collecting. So I want to have like an old school sort of 80s sort of diner / slaughterhouse. So in the back is going to be a slaughterhouse where she has actually meat, and that's her thing. She sells meat. People really love her meat, but it's a twist. It's a twist to it. So as you go down the story, you see her preparing her meat. Then she has this classified document, so you know it's something going on, because there's always something going on. Because I love horror, so it's a horror movie. It's a horror. it's something dealing with horror. So you know, you
Mhm.
see a little devious face. He's basically telling her that they don't know what's coming, and then she gets back to working on her meat, and then it closes out. So I switched it around actually, and I don't know if I posted I didn't post the other one. So that fifth the fifth one is actually going to be the last one.
Mhm.
So because I was saying what you should do is probably start out with something that bring them in. So the first image is to draw them in, and the last image is to give them the cliffhanger. So the cliffhanger is when it ends the clip, whether it be animated or whatever, depending on doing it, it'll end with they don't know what's coming, and then
Mhm.
they'll kind of leave them hanging. But those that's keen on horror, they probably got some kind of idea what's going on with that. So I can get a little bit deeper into the meaning behind what's going on, but she's going to have a torrid past as well, which is going to be actually a marriage with the government, and it's going to be a lot else going on. So if you ever want to have like a what they call it origin, a prequel, um, she has a lot going on with her too. So it's not just her little nice restaurant that she has, but it's something else going on. It's about 2 or 3 twists in the story
Mhm.
when you get to it. So right now it's just giving you a little tease what could be happening, but for the inquisitive and for the learned that's really into horror, you guys probably have an idea of what could be going on. So
Mhm.
just on the surface.
Okay. All right. So it's like it's a teaser for kind of a horror conspiracy story.
I would say not conspiracy. It could be conspiracy, but it could be pretty straightforward,
Mhm.
because once you won't actually get none of her past out of this. You will get glimpses of who she is tied
Mhm.
to, and then who she is devoted to in it. Once you do like the full treatment. But the thing is right now you only get a glimpse of, she has a restaurant. She looks like she's devious, and then you see a classified document, so you know that has something to do with the government.
Mhm. Well, that's where the conspiracy part comes in.
Yeah,
Or at least I read it as conspiracy. That may not be your intent, and if that's not where it goes, But I'm just saying that usually when you see something like that, like classified, you think it's some sort of conspiracy type thing. But then you
yeah,
also said that you posted some reference
yeah, yeah,
materials.
yeah. I don't know if you want to share that or not, but if they jump on there, they can always go to that. I made it public because it was private at first,
Mm.
but that has a lot of images that I collected related to it to give it more of a vibe as far as the environment and whereas twist of True Blood. Um, True Blood is a vampire flick. I'm gonna give you a little bit of it. It's really, when you look at it on the surface, it's gonna be sort of like a zombie flick because I like zombie movies, but this is gonna be a little bit different than zombies because it's gonna be zombies, but it's not gonna be the kind of zombie. Well, you know what? It's just us here, and we don't know who else is gonna see it. If I ever get it done, it's basically since it's classified and it's a government and it's her,
Mhm.
it's zombies that she's going to be able to control.
Mhm.
And
Oh, interesting. Puppet.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, like kind of like the classic voodoo zombie. You can command them, control them.
yeah, but
Mhm.
the one of the twists is in her ingredients. That's why it's called Maggie Meats.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I saw a horror movie similar to this, but it wasn't exactly the same. It's the meats are going to have her special ingredient, and her
Mhm.
special ingredient is her blood.
Mhm.
And it's something that's going on with her blood that don't nobody know about but her
Mhm.
and the government, and then her past.
Mhm.
And then I even got some mystical stuff in there too. It's not voodoo, but it's sort of dealing with her past. Her past, she had she was molested. I'm just giving
Mhm.
away a whole bunch of this stuff, which I probably shouldn't be, but she
Mhm.
was molested, and then she also was part of a couple cults.
Hmm. The cult maybe changed her, did something weird to her. By the way, I wanted to jump in. Deckard threw a question in the chat. He asked whether the printer offers a newsprint option. It said many indie creators are tapping into nostalgia with newsprint. Now, as far as I know, they don't have it as an option when you go through their paper stocks. But I actually, generally speaking, I've only just done like their regular white paper or the thick cardstock cover paper. I've never actually looked, so it's possible they have that in there. But the other thing I'll mention is that anytime that you're dealing with a printer, it is best to reach out to them personally and ask if they can offer paper stocks. Because a lot of times it's if just because you don't see it on their options, maybe they don't do it, maybe they do. But it's just something where most printers are usually pretty flexible and they'll tell you up front, they're like, we can do it, but it's going to cost more. Or we can do it, but it's going to require a minimum number of orders. Like they might say, well, yeah, we can do newsprint on you, but you're going to have to order 3,000 copies as opposed to 300. So, and I'm not quoting those numbers like they've said that. I'm saying that for this particular printer, it's worth dropping them an email and just asking in their customer service. The fact of the matter is, let me see if I still have the window open. I think I may have closed it. No, it's still up here. I'm going and looking on here now just to see because they have foil options, file prep. They do funding, fulfillment for crowdfunding. Let's see here. I'm just jumping off for a second, just to not jumping off the screen, but I'm looking to see if they have a thing here where they have paper stocks in there. So let's see. They've got a regular card stock. They've got a sketch cover card stock. A couple of thick card stocks for covers, and then a hollow chrome cover. So on their interior, that's what it is, interior paper, they've just got a white, a text white, a gloss paper, a silk paper, and a cream off-white. So I don't see any newsprint, but you might be able to, again, anytime you're dealing with a printer, it's worth reaching out to them and asking. So, all right. And also I see Swordforge in the chat says a happy Sunday. I love this newspaper idea. Again, I don't know if the newsprint is available there, but it may well be something that they can do. But let's see here. By the way, Amar, I did click on the Pinterest link, but it opens up to another window, and then I have to switch out what I'm sharing.
Oh, no, that's cool. That's fine.
But I see you've got some character designs in here as well.
Yeah, they're really rough. Also, another show, I think they use a little bit of this, but they shared it at the beginning, not to do any spoilers, but I think it was a relatively recent movie. I don't know if it was They Come Back or something like that. Came out last year. I don't know if I said it right, but it was a little boy on a poster. Let me see if I'm saying it, but it's a horror movie. I think it's on HBO Max.
Oh, Weapons?
No, it's not that. I think it's something about somebody coming back from the dead. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it came out last year.
Well, there's lots of stories where they've dealt with that. Like, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but the Revival is based on an Image comic book by Tim Seeley and Mike Norton, the guys that do Hack Slash. Well, Tim Seeley does Hack Slash, but anyway, I read the first volume of the comic Revival, and it was really, really good. It was a small town story, and the idea was not that they were zombies. It was simply people who have died are returning. So it's more of a resurrection story. They weren't like mindless monsters. And I don't know if they got more than one season, but the first season, from what I saw of the trailers, it looked pretty good.
Oh, okay. I just looked it up on HBO Max. It's Bring Her Back. That's what it's called, Bring Her Back. Yeah. So I had I know at the beginning of that movie, not to give out any spoilers to nobody haven't seen it, but that had at the beginning something to do with cults. But you know, they have a lot of movies to deal with cults. But the thing is with this one, you wouldn't even know that she was part of a cult until they have like another movie or if it's done as a comic. Because I'm thinking that it could be done as a comic. It can be done as a little short series. It can be done as whatever. I don't know, but she would be sort of like the villain slash. I don't know if it's called they call it titular character or the main character. Because you know sometimes you don't have main characters that's actually villains. Sometimes you do, but most of the time you have to have that hero because for some reason you have to have a hero. That seems like yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at something like Succession. There are main characters, but there are no heroes.
Oh, okay, all right.
I mean, sometimes there are stories where you're just following a bunch of nasty ass people doing nasty ass shit. And
Yeah,
it's just like it's a dark story. I mean, usually people talk about it in terms of the protagonist and the antagonist.
yeah.
And the protagonist is usually just the person whose story you're following, and the antagonist is the person who's trying to stop them.
Yeah, the problem here is nobody's trying to stop it because they're not going to be able to stop her. But she has her motives, and once you learn more about it in the story, you'll see who she's doing it for and why she's doing it. Not in the first one, but you know, like if you do more of it, and it's like a comic or whatever, you can have you can go deeper into a story and see why she's doing some of the things she's doing. And I don't know, it's just me. I always feel like, and this is just me. You have more of them, I would say, as of late, maybe the last 10, maybe 15 years. But I never seen any horror villains, and I've had a lot of them. And I know a lot of times people probably go down a road, a political road with this, but I never really seen any horror villains that's been evil women. And I'm like, you know, I have quite a few of them in my head that I've developed over the years. I just never actually put them out, but I'm like, you should have had someone by now that's on the level of Freddy or Jason. That's a woman, because you really think about it. The first Jason movie, Mama was the villain.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have like that movie Mama. They had the woman in. Did you see The Woman in Black with Danielle Detweiler?
Yeah,
Or
that's
The Woman
more,
in the Yard. The Woman in the Yard. That's what I'm thinking of.
yeah, that's more recent.
Yeah. I mean, when I think about, there's plenty of horror movies that have females as the quote unquote monster. I mean, honestly, I don't know. Did you see The Substance with Demi Moore?
Yes, I saw that. That's I said, it's more recent. But when you think of the old movies, the closer you get to a villain that might be on a Freddy or someone level is like Carrie or somebody like that, or maybe even the woman that's in Stephen King now. What's the one? What's the one that she did when she had the guy locked up and she was
Misery.
Yeah.
Well, I think Stephen King has definitely, done that. But I mean, I think part of it's just the fact that I don't have as many horror films loaded up in the back of my brain right now. But, I could think of stuff like Species, which was a whole franchise. It had a ton of sequels.
Yeah, I remember that, and I saw those as well. It was more like a sci-fi with horror elements, but never has, like, you can think of something right offhand. Even Saw came out, and that was relatively recent, and then that just got thrown into the lexicon. But you never had any women that stood in there and said, "Oh, okay, we got a woman that's just as terrible." And I mean, and I know it's typically men, and that's what people get into. But if you look at history, you have women serial killers. I think the one that they even use her in a couple. I think they use her in the last what do they call that? The Castlevania series. They use her as like the lead character in the last one, where they had this woman that was locked. They had her I can't remember the lady's name, but they had locked her in like a castle to die because she used to bring people to the castle.
Oh, Bathory. I forget her name was. It's something Bathory.
Yeah, she used to suck their blood or something like that.
Yeah.
She would
she would bathe in their blood.
Yeah.
They touched on her in I think it was in the second or the third Hostel movie.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
weird that I can only remember her last name and I can't remember her first name. But it was something kind of similar to Lizzie Borden, except Lizzie Borden was maybe they're both, because Lizzie is short for Elizabeth. Because I think I want to say there was either Elizabeth or Eleanor Bathory, but there was a woman serial killer who was like bathing in the blood of like young children or some sort of horrific shit. Let's see here.
Yeah, you're right. You said it. I just looked it up. It's Elizabeth Bathory.
Yeah. And King's Levin is a Nicki Minaj type character. I think Nicki Minaj would do a great job playing a serial killer. That would actually be really, that'd be a fun movie. But yeah, I mean, point being is simply that I actually think that there's a lot of precedent. I understand the idea of wanting to have a female horror character that is in the line of the canon of, like, you know, Freddy and Jason are the two big slashers. So when we think of slasher movies, like those are kind of the supernatural slashers, like, you know, they're the kings of that. But the thing is, I think there's not a lot necessarily of horror creatures or villains that are on the level of Freddy and Jason. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily that there's not enough women monsters or women villains in horror. I just think it's hard for any horror villain to reach up to that level. But I mean, if you can do a really interesting, compelling story with Maggie, maybe she can take a step up to that role, you know? So that's a good thing to aspire to.
Yeah, I have a few of those, but yeah, the Elizabeth Bathory character, I'm surprised because they have a lot of people throughout history. I know it's kind of crazy to think of, you know, we talking about a horror character that would be on a level, even though this kind of some sicko stuff, especially with the real backstory behind Freddy and some of these other characters. But it's just, you know, it's just, for me, it deals with reality, but it's make believe. And really, to me, horror, I get a lot of humor out of horror because horror is real funny because it's, for me, it's not real. And then I look at life, when I look at documentaries, those are scarier to me than horror movies. But, you know, everybody got their thing. But yeah, that's basically where I was going with that. You know, she has, like with a lot of people that end up being horror villains, a torrid past. And it's a lot of stuff that's mixed in there. And everything's mixed in there with intent. And, you know, we got a couple of hidden things in there that, you know, whatever route it takes, it can actually allow you to have a little bit more meat, not
but on boom
on the phone.
I think it's worth a little puns there.
Yeah.
I see Chris is in the chat. How you doing, Chris? Thanks for joining us. Let me see here. I was going over. Whoops, that's not what I want to do. Just hopping back over to Illustrator and
yeah, because you did some panels too.
Well, you know what? Hang on. Let's go back to the Discord so I can go back to what I or actually, you know what? I'm trying to think of what the easiest way to do is here, because I've got multiple screens. I've got like multiple devices attached here, and for some reason my iPad isn't coming up. So let me switch cables and see if this will make it visible.
Well, if you have a hard time doing it, I can share what you did, and then while you fixing that, and then you can talk about it if you want.
Well, you know what? Hang on. Let me, since I've got the Discord up here, let me scroll back up. So what I shared in the Discord was something that we had worked on here on the live stream a few weeks ago. And it was just just one of the it was the opening page of the Pandora's Box story, and just kind of like doing her origin, her being created by Hephaestus, and the other gods sort of circling around during her creation, and me trying to figure out, well, what's gonna, how do I want to thumbnail this? How do I want this particular page to be pasted out? And what I have up on my laptop, if I can get this going, was me actually taking it from just the numbered sequences that I have there to me actually trying to, let me see here. Huh. That is so weird. That is so weird. For some reason, the screen sharing just does not seem to be working the way that I've done it in the past. I don't know what that deal is. For some reason, my
Does it limit how many places you can share from?
you know what? It might be the fact that it's literally not letting me do it because I'm currently screen sharing this. Let me see what happens if I remove this and now this time try to share. The weird thing is normally the way I do this is it's on a Mac and I share my screen through QuickTime and then I select QuickTime as the actual. Maybe I need to quit QuickTime. Maybe that's the problem.
That seems kind of weird because you're doing it in a browser. It should just allow you to do it through, if you have Chrome or if you have Safari, since you're doing it inside of the StreamYard.
Mm-hmm. No, it's simply the fact that the way that I have normally done it. Okay, wow, that's all it needed. I just needed to turn it off and then on again. It's one of those weird things. There's a default way to easily share. Like you can share any device's screen if you're on a Mac. If you just open QuickTime, like you're doing you're gonna do a share screen or you're gonna do a screen recording in there, and then all you do is you just switch over and select that as the device that you want to share. But
Yeah, that's always the default when you are doing IT work or you're doing tech work. Like, did you reboot?
Mm-hmm. When in doubt, reboot it out. All right. So what was I doing here? Oh, there we go.
So did you get snow over there? Because we got a lot of, it was snowed all yesterday.
We got no snow. In fact, honestly, it's actually been warm. It was warm over the past few days, and now it's back.
Oh, you're in Cali, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I was actually surprised. It was in the low 60s, but I thought it would feel cold. And to be honest, it's been very sunny and it's been cool and pleasant, but not cold.
Yeah, I thought of two songs when you said that. You said Sunny. I was thinking the song Sunny, and then going back to Cali.
So, but anyway, so I've still got this screen here where I was trying to decide, for the most part, this whole top panel is just going to be sort of a landscape image of Mount Olympus, and then going in more detail to, I haven't really decided what I want to fill in the third panel with, but then, the fourth panel being Hephaestus molding a female form out of clay, and then her opening her eyes. So compared to that scattering of images that I was showing before with a wide variety of, possible thumbnails, this is more of what I'm thinking for it. And what I was going to do over in Illustrator, and the reason why I had brought up Illustrator, now we get into the point where I'm jumping back and forth around different so
is that panel 2 panels, or is it bleeding into the other panel?
It is 2 panels, but it's one panel that is broken into 2. Like, have you ever seen, like, on a Frank Miller comic book where he'll have like a panoramic image where Daredevil will jump through multiple places in the screen? Yeah. You know how sometimes he'll do that, but he'll divide the panel. So it's still one large image, but you can see that it's one large image, but he'll be in one place in one division of the frame. Then when he goes to the next one, he'll be in another place. So it's like he's moving through space.
Yeah,
And
maybe the third panel can be a hand of him reaching into like some sort of either mystical pond or some bowl or somewhere where you keep the clay that he's going to use to create her. And it's sort of like him either reaching into a pond or reaching him into space or reaching into wherever this is and pulling out the clay that's going to make him. In the next frame, you see her made. Because it's sort of like me thinking of like how my character in the universe that I still in my head created for Lilith. When I was creating her, she's sort of like he's reaching into nothing and created her. I'm kind of thinking of that. He's sort of like reaching into nothing. It could be like mud that looks like clay, and then the next panel you see her created. I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Well, for me, what I prefer, the way I try to write my comics is that I try to make it so that there's something in the previous panel that feeds into the next one. So what I want is something that would make sense in terms of a transition from this building exterior to a shot that sort of introduces all of the gods. So even though I have this shot where there's a figure in the foreground who's Hephaestus, and he is molding in clay, and you have the other gods standing around them, what works for me is an interior shot of sort of introducing you to the throne room of Mount Olympus. So the way I think of it is simply, if all of these panels are just, where's my stupid stylus? Here we go. This is a really, really weird way to break it down, because it's very obvious what I'm saying, but the mental limits, the mental structure of the way that I think of it helps me try to keep the storytelling as simple as possible. And it's just, I've got panel 1 here, panel 2, this is panel 4, this is panel 5, this is panel 6. So the question is, if you know what goes here, the idea is what represents the number 3, meaning what is something that logically as an image would come after that and before this. So I don't even really think of it as what would look cool, what would make a cool shot, or I don't think about what do I want to draw. I think about what information connects these two ideas clearly. The idea of showing a hand reaching in and pulling out clay, it conveys information in terms of, oh, the clay is now being used to make her. But how important is clay to this whole story? It's not. If my whole story really hinged on the idea that she is this being who was molded out of clay, and that was a theme that carries throughout the story, then it would make sense for me to emphasize that more in the beginning. But once she's molded, I never make any reference in the rest of the story to the fact that she was molded out of clay. I make more of a reference to the fact that Hephaestus is kind of her adopted. He's kind of her father in the way that Geppetto is Pinocchio's father. I make reference to the fact that he's her creator, and therefore he's her father figure. But the fact that she's made out of clay isn't really important to me. And because it's not important to me, I'm not going to emphasize it in this shot.
Is he an important figurehead in the story?
He is. He is.
So why not have like a I don't know if we call it like a widescreen shot, so like it can almost pan out from the bottom of this, where he can be in his space, where you may see some of the gods in the background, and at his foot or wherever it may be, this area they may go to actually pull the clay out of, but it can more so focus on him, and it can be like a lumen shot, almost as if you're looking at somebody sitting on this throne from anti-view almost, or even like at a waist level view. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas.
Well, I already am pretty sure of what I want to do, and it's not that. What I
Okay.
want to do is do an interior establishing shot of gods. That's what I'm going to do. It's just a matter of me deciding what angle I want to shoot that from, in terms of an angle that will transition well from the one before to the one next. Because I feel like because you have to remember, this is the opening page of the book. If they already knew everything that was going on in Mount Olympus, then they would, if this was just something that was a scene that was in the ongoing part of the story, then it wouldn't really matter. You're just like, oh, here's these characters again. But when you're introducing them, what you really want is to give readers context. And so it's sort of like, I honestly could spend an entire page just introducing all of the gods. And in the end, I may still go and change this into a 9-panel grid and make it all about the introduction of the gods. But it's also the fact that I want to keep the story moving along. What I've been trying to do is compress a lot more information into the introduction, the opening scenes of a story. Because I always feel like when I get to like the last 5 pages of a comic, I feel like I'm trying to cram too much story into it. There's too much that I'm trying to cover, and I'm doing things where I'm jumping quickly over things. So what I'm trying to do in this comic book is use the experiences I've had with the past and say, all right, what if I take the beginning of the story and cram as much in there and jump over unimportant details and try to get as much overview of where the story needs to be early on, so that for the whole second half of the book, I can take my time and pace out the actual details that I want to show. It's almost like I want to show more detail and more subtle moments in the back half as opposed to in the beginning half.
So with the establishing shot you have here, this is just a thought. I know you're gonna do what you're gonna do, but you can have like the little establishing shot. This shot that you have there at the top, that can almost be like your shot, and then in the background that fills up the whole middle, or like I'll say the top quarter for the whole mid page. That can be part of the established shot that shows all of the gods in there, almost like in this whole wide rectangle shot. And so that can be like part of the establishing shot, whereas you get the introduction to the top of the Mount Olympus, and then you get the introduction to the gods, almost like in the first half of the page. And then the next half of the page, you're showing the sculpture and then her awakening. I don't know, just throwing out ideas.
I think what's going to work well here is sort of the idea of a throne. That's what I really want to do, is block out what the throne room of the gods looks like.
How many people sit in that room?
There's 12 Olympians.
So that's why I said that the middle of the page would probably be perfect for, or maybe making that first shot smaller and then making the whole middle panel, or like right before the second third of the page, that take up and show all of the gods there. I don't know, because I think the Mount Olympus shot doesn't sound as important as even with the little sculpture shot. It seems like the gods shot is more important, and then her awakening is the most important.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just thinking, because when you look at those two shots, one is just, it shows the top of Olympus, which really nobody would really know until they see these gods. And then after that, even though he sculpted her, the most important part would be her awakening.
Well, that is something to consider.
I'm just going off of what you said, because you're saying that the gods are more important, I guess, especially what's his name again? It starts with a T. Okay.
Hephaestus?
Oh, it's Hephaestus. Okay, I thought it was started with a T. I'm not too keen on the Greek gods, so.
Well, plus, I mean, even with this, there's not what I was thinking originally is that there's going to be a shot after this where she kind of like kind of meets the gods one by one, and they give her gifts, because Pandora means all of the gifts. Pan meaning all, and Dora meaning gift.
That sounds like another page.
Yeah, that's what comes after this. The first
okay.
is her creation, and then it's her being given the gifts by the gods. That's the story of the myth.
So is these throne rooms, you know how you see sometimes in movies where they have these huge throne rooms where they're huge statues, and when somebody walks in the room, so like human size, they may be about 20, 30, 40 feet tall, as far as the gods. Is that the type of throne room you're talking about?
I haven't really decided yet.
Oh, okay.
In fact, the more I draw this, I know that I really like this shot over here of the gods standing around while she's molding them. But I'm almost wondering whether it makes more sense to have the introduction shot of the throne room go all the way across. Now this is starting to do what I kind of didn't want to do, which is to cram too much into one.
That's what I was saying. It should be like, it should cover the whole like either second or second quarter of the page, because then you can have that other shot be smaller and it can bleed into that. So like this top shot bleed into the shot that shows all of the gods, and then this smaller shot, it can be almost like an inset in the bottom left of him creating her, and then it can lead into her awakening. So like making this middle shot of the gods being the focal point, and then the shot where they come in and lead into the story is just sort of like a caption. Whereas, so like how when you see stories opening, they have like a little caption shot where it's showing you where they're going to, and then you enter this space and you see like this imposing picture that's, in this case, telling you what the gods is. And I also wanted to ask you, did you create a mood board for this? You made me like a Pinterest board. Maybe that'll help you too.
Well, for this isn't really about style. It's about the storytelling. It's more about just choosing the actual shots. I do actually have, I have multiple Pinterest boards for this project.
Oh, okay, cool.
But there's like, I have a Pinterest board for environments. I have a Pinterest board for characters. I have a Pinterest board for creatures. But this is actually more about the actual storytelling of the page. And I was
only saying that because of you trying to get like a hone in on like how you want this throne room to look. That's all.
No, when I'm talking about the throne room, it's not about how I want it to look. It's about how I want the shot composed. I can decorate it later. That's not really an important part of what I'm working out. Right now, I'm thinking just about storytelling.
Oh, Dylan says that he's uploading his panels, so he does have some stuff to show us.
Well, we're already at about noon. So Dylan, just to let you know, we're gonna wrap it up here soon. So if you want, we can take a look at it next week. And also, I know Herman said he was adding some stuff. Let me hop back over to the Discord, see if there's anything in there before we wrap it up. Let's see here.
No, nothing's new been posted.
Okay. No, I switched back over to the original layout that
what's up?
That I was working on. Hey, how's it going?
Good. Yeah, I was getting ready to probably, I didn't know where I was going to post it. I didn't know if I was going to make like a Google link and send you the link, or should I just go ahead and then try to make a file and just put it in Discord?
You can just post it in Discord, because I can share what's on the Discord.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, because I'm like, I just finished scanning like this stuff, so I'm like, it's not. I mean, not as you know, as much as the stuff that you and Amar was like, y'all have like some ideas. I don't have any ideas. I just have like sketches and stuff, so that could just come up with something. So like, I'm gonna let you go ahead and do that. I'm gonna start posting the stuff on Discord.
Okay. All right. We'll go for like another 10 to 15 minutes here because
Okay.
I kind of want to. I switched back over. This is the reason why a lot of times I will start out with this before I even dive into a proper, comic book page like I was doing before. Because for me, this is the place where I spend a lot of my time really thinking about how I want each shot to sync up. So let me take what's right in here. What I want to do is copy all, paste. No, I don't want all of that. Let's see here. I don't know what else that is that's in here. But what I usually like to do instead is come in here and, oh, I see why. Let's grab some of this. Don't know why I grabbed some of that, but switching to a gray color so I can draw over it as I refine stuff. So one of the things I like to do is I like to think of the comic book page as both a single unit and as a group. Go slightly darker here. So I'm going to have 3 tiers. It's going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So the beginning is an introduction to Mount Olympus. And we could do something instead of doing it with that big long shot. I do like having the first shot of any given page be kind of a long landscape shot. But I could also just as easily say, here's a giant mountain with a temple on the top. Could be as simple as that. So maybe it isn't the big landscape shot that I originally had in there. Then the next shot could be looking through the columns. Yeah, I don't like that. The columns are a good framing device, but the idea would then be transitioning to, I still want to have the gods feel kind of what? Let's try it like this. Show a little bit more of the ceiling, so it's kind of a down shot. Let's see here. Dylan says, I thought you were going live at 1 my time, so that's why I'm late. Don't worry about it. There is no one's keeping track here.
Yeah, I just posted some stuff, like some sketches, whatever, but like, yeah.
All right. Well, let me, because I mean, what I'm doing here,
hmm
this is what I spend most of my time on. This is not something that I just sort of jump through and go to something else. I spend a lot of time on my thumbnails,
Right.
and I redraw and I try to work out a lot of different possibilities before
Yeah.
before jumping into something final. So this is something that, like, I would spend probably like I would probably spend a couple of hours just working on this one thing. Like this honestly is probably at least another 2 hours worth of thinking out. Also because it's the opening sequence. Once you get over the opening of a story, the rest of it kind of flows.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, really thinking through a page takes quite a while. Kingslow Fitness is like revisions. Yes, revisions. Lots of revisions. All right, I'm going to jump back to the Discord real quick and let's take a look at what you posted up in there, Hermit.
Yeah, it's just, I don't like, it's just scrambled thoughts, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, I'm not like, because it's just me just sketching when I'm at work, whatever, and then coming up with like ideas and things. It's not, so you're not going, probably less than 5 minutes, I believe. Right? I'm telling you, you're not, so you still gonna have time to even probably get Dylan in or something like that.
Let's see here.
Yeah, so.
Okay, cool. All right, let me bring
I even added like this stuff that I was like, that right there, this is,
well, wait, hang on. I'm gonna go back out because you did it compose this like a comic book page, or was this just
that's what this Discord did that.
Oh, okay.
Discord
is like here. Let me get some sequentials in there for you. All right.
Right.
So we got these two characters.
Yeah, it was just me just coming up with ideas, like, cause like I had I was like, for some reason I was getting into like some mood of like Star Trek, whatever. So this is like, I guess like the main, I guess, main antagonist, whatever. Like I'm again, I just coming up with ideas. So I just have him like, I mean, you'll see like another panel, but like I kind of came up with like how he actually looks. It's just like just thumbnail sketches again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you see how,
by the way, is it a superhero story?
I don't know. Jay, I'm like, I told you it was just random stuff. And so that's kind of like what him again, but like, this was me like coming up with ideas. I got this from a guy who was talking about doing like a visual outline, whatever. So on the side, you kind of see like where I was like, okay, let me add some spaceships. Like kind of like if I wanted to create like a one shot, because I'm not a sequential artist. Like I'm like more like a illustrator. So I can kind of come up with like an idea. So I was like, I got some, some little whatever weird spaces up there for number 1 and number 2. I got the creature how I want them probably to look, whatever. And then I do on the number 3, I do like some rock formations, whatever. So again, the next panel over, you see like I kind of like try to blend that together, and then kind of like I came to like a finalized idea, like how I probably wanted to look, whatever, at the bottom, whatever. You can see like the spaceships flying, and you got the, to come up. So that's like the whole Star Trek. Like, I was like, maybe he could be like a villain on like for Star Trek, because I did some other panels like after that, like it's like with and this one I was coming up with like I got Spock in here or whatever, and Spock talking to like this kid, like, let me see, did I name it number right? It's a guy right there. He's like the ensign, whatever, speaking to Spock, and Spock saying something, quippy to him, whatever, about to make his move, like, and that's panel 3. Then I have like panel 4, like he's about to walk over to like the oh, you gotta go back. Oh. Yeah, because it's jumbled, you know what I'm saying? So like, so you gotta go back, and then like the bottom where it's number 4. But see number 5 is at the front. See how when I thought of number 5, right? That's
no, I mean I do that too. When I do my thumbnails, it'll be all over the page, right. And then I tend to I usually don't get to because you're already composing them together narratively. Right. I usually try to keep them and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's easier for me to just draw a bunch of images separately, and then I sort of compose them once I pick out the sequence of shots.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because I figure at this point I could just do whatever. It's like this is the beginning. Like I can kind of figure out what I want. But I also figured out, okay, number 5, I wanted something like Spock being energized, whatever. So
Mhm.
like he's about to go down, whatever. So
Mhm.
and that was basically it for that. And then after that, I think I just have like other sketches, whatever. This is me coming up, like I was telling you, I was thinking about He-Man and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I was, like if Adam got revealed, whatever, and somehow, he getting attacked by some of Skeletor's henchmen, whatever, and then like he
Mhm.
turns the He-Man in front of them or something like that because they didn't know that was Adam, whatever. So,
Mhm.
and this again, just me just doing like environments, whatever. And then I see a little character down at the bottom where I kind of made him look like he's like maybe uh like the 5 Daily Venoms type character. Like this is me like doing like a redesign of like what's the guy was on the Super Friends, the he used to go Quasimoto ni Hayaku, the
Oh,
samurai,
yeah.
right. So I was thinking about actually doing some, like, I don't know, I was thinking about like, because I was like some of these characters like that I like that was back in the 70s, like I wonder how come they didn't put them in a comic books. I mean, every once in a while I mean Zan and Jaina, they put them in like the DC Comics, whatever, at some point, whatever. But like I was like, they should probably like revisit like some of these characters and probably put them back in the DC Comics. So like I just was doing some like sketches of him, whatever.
Mhm.
So next sketch, next one. Yeah, and this is just me doing like trying to figure out if I want to put like a mask on him or something like that, and try
Mhm.
to update the uniform, whatever. I kind of got him like now he's kind of like a dancer or whatever or something like that. His parents, he was more like he got into dancing and stuff like that. His parents wanted him to get into more like something more like doctor or whatever like that.
Mhm.
So that's about it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You said that you're not a sequential comic artist, you're more of an illustrator.
Right.
Maybe the idea is for you to simply come up with a handful of characters. Maybe it's one character,
Right.
maybe it's like 3 or 4 characters. And instead of necessarily writing, quote unquote, writing a story, you could just decide, all right, I'm going to do 8 illustrations of this character in
Okay.
different situations, almost as if you were a cover artist and
Right.
you were going to draw the covers for an 80 issue story. And so you're not burdened with the idea of coming up with writing 8 issues of comics. You are saying, what are 8 interesting scenarios for this character? Maybe half of them are him fighting different creatures. So you get to do some creature design practice in
Right.
terms of like what would like 4 different creatures be that would be interesting for him to fight. And then it's like, what would be the other ones? You could say, well, I'm going to challenge myself to doing some different environments. What does this character's home look like? So you might do an illustration of him at home. You might be
Right.
like, where do his enemies live? And you might pick like, like what kind of what does his home environment look like? What
Right.
does the environment that he finds dangerous look like? What does he look like in an unfamiliar environment? Maybe you put him underwater. What does the undersea world that this character live in look like? Or maybe
Right.
he's on a ship or on a hot air balloon, and you can just sort of like, you can take the things that you would normally do in terms of the world building for a comic and say, all right, I'm not going to build all that because I'm not going to tell a sequential story of all that.
Right.
It's just
Right.
me doing this character in situations. That's it.
Right.
So you still
Okay.
get to use all of your strengths without feeling like you're burdened with coming up with a story.
Right. I mean, I still got to come up with the story for like my actual. Remember when I was saying I was working on something as far as like I want to write the story and all that. So I'm like, that's the main thing right now. This is just me just like doodling at work, like sketching here and there, just to keep my hands, keep my ideas, moving, whatever. And so, but the main focus right now is to really work on like the script, and I can start working on the actual book that I
By the
want.
way, these are really, really nice sketches. I really,
Oh,
really
really?
love them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and I wanted to challenge his statement for saying the sequential artist thing. I mean, if you ever did fine art in school,
Right.
if you had to do a series of anything, anytime you do a series of anything where it's a composite, that's sequential in a way, because that's all sequential art is a sequence of ideas. And when you are thumbnailing or you doodling, if you tell a story with those ideas, whether it has a full illustrated background or whatever, it's still sequential art.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
even here, what you're doing here is sequential. All you have to do is add a background
And make
and
some sense to it.
add a plot or some sort of story to it. So that's the whole idea of what we was doing last week when we was talking about this, whereas you can just take a simple sentence, whereas you say, okay, whether it's dealing with your story or whatever, and you say, okay,
Right.
I just want to illustrate this point. So let's say, for instance, your story is about a samurai, and you say, okay, this samurai, he discovers his new skill. Then you can just illustrate him discovering a new skill in 3 to 6 panels or 1 to 3 panels. That doesn't require you having to think a lot, because all you have to do is show how you're going to illustrate him discovering that new skill. That's just me just throwing out an idea,
Right.
So I'm just
No, I hear you. I hear you. I hear both of y'all. Like I'm just trying to make it.
yeah,
Well, there's
Trying to
only
make
so many hours in the day. Like I said, for
Right.
for me, jumping into drawing actual pages when I'm still working out the elements of what I want to show in the page. For me, the storytelling is the thing I absolutely am like, that's what I spend the most time on. And I will
Right.
spend forever on that, because once you do that, the for me, the writing will just follow.
Right.
Once I figure out what it is I want, figuring out what I want to tell is the most important thing.
Mhm.
Then the telling, it becomes way easier.
Right. Yeah, well, let me see. Like as far as like I think I'm gonna stick with like something like just something like a small project I can manage. I could probably manage like the Star Trek when I already
Mhm.
started it up, So I'm like I could probably like Amar, I think he's working on, like he said, model sheet. Maybe I can do like a
Mhm.
model sheet of like the characters that I want to put in a little comic, comic strip or something like that. Or
Yeah, but don't make it too complex, because
oh
once
no,
you,
I'm not.
I'm just
Oh
saying,
no,
you said characters, because once you start getting characters in there,
no.
you can get overwhelmed. And the thing is, you're trying to stay away from being
Those
overwhelmed.
those people you saw on the panel, that's it. It's gonna be
Okay.
Spock, that kid, and maybe the only thing I think that's overwhelming would probably be like because I'm not uh um a background artist. Like I think that would be more hard for
Well, don't
me.
say you're not. You just say you prefer
Yeah, I
not.
struggle with that.
You
Yeah, I
prefer
just struggle with that.
not to do backgrounds, but
But I'm
I'll
gonna do it.
probably, what you can do is you can also limit it to one environment.
Right.
Like I'm gonna say with the one that I'm doing, even though you have a whole town, most of the stuff is going to happen inside her restaurant, in
Hmm.
or outside of her restaurant. So the goal is, even if it was shot as a movie, it still would happen in or out, just outside a restaurant. So the thing is that's what happens with horror movies. And then also with some of your stuff, if you can limit the environment, even if you did like your own short film or short animated project, if you limit the places you have to go, then that focus on that background, you don't have to worry about having to draw so many backgrounds. And then also with the characters, if you limit the amount of characters, and that gives you more focus and more time to focus on trying to draw and master that character, because you can lose, if you're trying to do too many characters, you can lose the way they look really quick.
I think the only thing I'm like, as far as like that, to keep it simple, like I said, I have the idea of like what I probably wanted to do, and then I'm gonna just get like some reference for Leonard Nimoy and the other character. I mean, he may be a human or he may be like a creature I may make up. I may have a creature that I may create for an instant instead of like the human being, whatever. I mean, I don't, it's like it's just right now it's just like jumbled ideas. I mean, I try to create like a sequence of something that I can follow. So now I have that
Mhm.
that blueprint down, and then now I feel like this is the point where I can probably actually try to start drawing, or coming up with like, well, again, like I said, I wanted to mess around and come up with like characters, like I mean, get how I want Spock to look and what's the name and the instant whatever, probably for that scene, whatever. Because I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I could probably do because I do have like a little bit of animation, like I went I went to school for, but I haven't done any much animation. But like I can maybe I might want to paint do the backgrounds like paint it like looking, but I can, I got digital programs I can do that in, but make it look like kind of like Disney style, something like that, and then actually make Spock and the ensign look more like cell shaded or something like from like the old Star Trek animation or something like that. I mean, I don't know, or maybe I might just want to keep it like like black inks or whatever. I'm just haven't decided like what I want to do with that. But for right now, I just want to create with I just want to probably I want to design Spock, and I want to design the
Have you ever done log lines before?
what's it called?
Log line.
No, what is that?
All right. Well, every time you look at a movie, every time you see a movie, the beginning of it, when it first gives you the description of what the movie is about, that's a log line.
Okay.
So if you was to tell the story that you want to do in one sentence, that would basically be a log line.
Okay.
If you start there, then that can help you scope down what you want to do. So like, I'm gonna give you, for instance, let me pull up the log line I have for see if I got one for Maggie Meats. But usually the log line is like, that can be like the kickoff point for your story. And then you can go and build upon that and write like your synopsis, and then go into adding more meat to the actual story. So let me just go here, see if I got one, if I added one to this one. No, I didn't add one yet. Okay, I'm gonna just go into one of my other stories then. So Jeremy is familiar with this one because I did this one. I actually storyboarded this one as well, but I haven't actually worked on it. So I had another story that I shared with Jeremy called Welcome Home. And it's basically about a boy being trapped in this house that it's so like it's a supernatural house, and the house will call out to certain kids, trap them into the house and basically take their essence. So yeah, I'm a horror movie person.
the essence. I like something like that.
Yeah, so the log line is a jocular boy finds fun in an abandoned client estate for an experience that never ends. So, part of the storyboard, you have the kid after he was lured into the house with a beach ball. He comes into the house, the door shuts, and then he's basically bedazzled by all of the stuff that's going on in the house, and he's running around. He gets lost in time, and then he realizes it's time for him to go, but the house is not going to let him go. And then he realizes that he can't get free, and then story's over with. And the next day, you see a little girl outside, and the story starts all over again. So,
so you the horror man, right?
yeah. So that's what I was telling Jeremy about. I had the ideas for doing 2-sentence. I don't know if you've seen this on YouTube before. They call it 2-sentence horror stories. But I started this out. It was out. We was talking about this on Clubhouse a while ago when that was a thing. But it's basically making a 2-sentence horror story that will last you either 1 to 3 minutes. So you can tell a story within 1 to 3 minutes, and it's sort of like a short. So it can be animated, it can be live action, it can be whatever. But the whole point of it is being able to create these little snippets or little short stories that if you can spend time on, if you can spend time on, it won't require you to spend that much effort, because how long does it really take to write a page and tell a story within a page? Right. And then once you've done that, then you get used to doing it over and over again. You can have a lot of content, right? And you can get a lot of stuff done. But the thing is then they can be expounded upon, because Lights Out, this one story called Pig, all those started out as shorts. Like Lights Out started out on YouTube. That was a horror movie. I don't know if you heard of that one. There's another one.
It sounds familiar.
Pig. Yeah, it's a Blumhouse. Yeah, I think Blumhouse actually produced it, but it started out on YouTube. So they ended up producing and making it to. King Glow said homework.
Let me see. Yeah, and it's and actually like I had told G like I'm actually that's what I want to do. Like the story that I was working on is kind of like a detective sci-fi horror story. You know.
Well, why instead of, and I'm gonna just throw this out there, why instead of, and it's just me, I know you probably like the Star Trek because I like Star Trek too, but why, and this is just me saying this, why not do something related to that if that's
Mhm.
your idea versus, and I know that people
Yeah.
tend to, because I've seen a whole lot of people on YouTube re since they did they went to one frame and everybody started making their little animated videos and
Right.
they got a lot of traction off of that, basically recreating season 3 or parts of season 3 and getting a lot of traction off of that. But that may get you a
Right.
lot of people looking at it, but I don't know what's going to bring you more benefit,
Yeah, I
getting
don't
more
really
eyes
like
on it
just be real. Like I
or
don't mean to cut you off, but like I don't really care like about that kind of like what people like. I mean, because that's just me just sketching. That like it's for real. It's like I mean I get what you're saying as far as like me putting like do something like my work whatever. But it's like I'm it's like I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that for me. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
If you
But then
enjoy it though,
and
if you
eventually
enjoy
I'll
it though, do it.
huh
If you enjoy it though, do it. And
right
I don't want to say nothing against that. But the
right
thing is if you have this detective story that you've been sticking on that you really like doing, why not put some time into that and then
right.
just knock
I
out
am
something real small like how Jeremy is doing and how I'm doing. Just do something small in regards to that and just to see it go forward versus because I have stuff that I want to work on, that I
right.
like other people's stuff as well. And it's just for me, we all are getting older, and I like to
I
see
got you.
something that that I have as far as the idea come to life because I'm constantly like I was sharing in Discord. I didn't realize this till yesterday that um Webtoons. I don't know if you ever heard of that. That
Webtoon.
company,
Yeah,
yeah,
I was actually thinking about I was doing like a lot of research about like putting my work on there, like what kind of something I could do that can like probably be small, something that's manageable where I can probably be able to do it like weekly, whatever like that. I can post something. Maybe I could do like 2 or 3 panels or something like that and just post that on Webtoon. I mean, but just I have to come up with a story, whatever, something that I want to put
yeah.
on
They
there.
they have over 100 projects in development. I saw online that they have an actual fan base film company, just like Legion M, and then also Tubi has one as well that I
Mhm.
posted on there. And I didn't even know because those are ideas that I told Jeremy I had a while ago, and there's a lot of companies that's doing it now. I'm
Right.
like, you people are looking for content. It's just the thing is it's got to be out there, and I believe too, like with Jeremy's idea, if people see it, it doesn't matter, and people like it.
Hmm.
People are looking for content, and um, this is the age where all you need is the right people to see it, and they can, if you want to become to something else, and they can.
Right.
It's a lot easier for us to do it now. It's just thing is
Knock that out.
we sit on it long enough, then somebody else is going to end up doing the idea.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's like with the whole like the detective horror joint like that's going like right as far as like the art. I mean, I'm not saying like the best arts in the world. I mean, I think I could probably I can do that, but it's just that right now my main problem I'm trying to work on the areas that I'm having an issue with. My issue right now is the writing aspect of it. So coming up with ideas and stuff like that, I can I'm doing okay as far as like for right now. And right now I'm just like I think if anything I'm going to be writing, trying to write and get the story together. Because then, like I was telling G, I was like, maybe hopefully by next year I could probably start, coming up with like ideas as far as like model sheets and stuff like whatever, as far as like designing like the characters for the story, But right now it's just I mean I have the story somewhat like in my head. I just want to get the story completed and done. And then once I get
Yeah,
the story completed and done, then as far as like I just want to have it like the bulk of that like completed, and then by the time next year roll around, I can probably start working on the characters or thumbnails and stuff like that. And then if I have to change anything within the story, I mean, I can find it because I'm like, okay, I can change that here, this and that because I have the story completed. And then by the time I can hit that finish and get like the thumbnails, then I can probably start working on the actual try to like book whatever or graphic novel whatever, and then just try to work on it the best way I can. And then that's probably when I'll be able to probably post and hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Like, stuff like
Now
that.
I'm gonna state this, and I know that Jeremy probably don't have much more time, but I'm gonna just state this. Thing is you have an idea in your head, and I know the idea may not be
What's
as
written?
as succinct that you want it to be, but thing
Right.
is, do you know who the characters are?
Do you mean like as far as the characters? Yeah, I mean,
Okay, do you know
I have,
the
I have,
arc?
I have. No, go ahead.
Do you know the arc that you want the character to go on, like the journey that you want the character to go on?
Yeah, I pretty much. Yeah, just now,
Okay.
just yeah,
So I would determine that, determine like where you want the character to go, and who they're gonna fight, and then you
right,
can create your first initial story on that and build around that. And if those other characters have sub stories, you
right,
can build upon that, and then just create a real short story, something that, like we were
right.
saying, only may last. It may seem difficult, but only may last like a page.
It's
So like,
difficult for me because I'm not a writer. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
no,
I'm
Can
not
I
used to
jump
that.
in?
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
So I don't write as well as I'd like to. I
Right.
have so much more to learn about writing.
I'm horrible.
But here's the thing. We get in our own ways.
Right.
We hold ourselves back.
True.
Instead of saying that you are a good or bad writer, that you have skills or you lack skills, instead think of this whole short story that you want to do. It's an exercise, and it's an exercise in imagination.
True.
Don't put pressure on yourself to write a good story. Instead, imagine the story that you would want a really good writer to write about your characters. So if there's any particular writer, whether they're a comic book writer, fantasy or science fiction writer, who do you admire? If there's somebody whose work you read, like, yeah, they really, like, they get it. It gets you jazzed. You're excited every time you read some of their work. Try and imagine if that person were going to do a short story about your characters. Try to imagine what would it be like. And when I say what would it be like, I'm not asking you to crystal clear figure out every line of dialogue and every beat and every scene and have it all mapped out. I'm just saying, what would it vaguely be about? Like somebody who you really love, you're like, all it is if there's somebody who's known for twists, you're like, all right, where would they start the characters? What would the twist be? And how would it resolve? 3 sentences. And you start with that. And when you come out with that, and when you write that, even that you write, it's going to be crappy. It's not going to be, well, this is not what the person I admire would write. That's fine. Start with those 3 sentences. What would they start with? What would the twist be? And how would it resolve? And so all you have to worry about is you don't have to worry about rewriting an entire short story. All you have to worry about is rewriting 3 sentences. And you do it a couple of times, or when you're in the train going from one place to another, you think about those 3 sentences and you go over some different versions in your mind. You may have some like, ooh, this might work. And you break out your phone or you break out a notepad and jot some stuff down. Bat those 3 sentences around for like a week. Just bat them around your head until you're like, okay, this isn't like, Isaac Asimov sci-fi, but you're like, I like this enough that I would want to read it if someone else wrote it.
Right.
And when you get to there, that's when you can actually start breaking it down into pages.
Right.
And then another thing I want to add is I'll take my experience as a bad experience. You can spend 30 or so years saying that you're not a writer until you realize that you can write.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either say, I can't write, or I can, I just choose not to. And the thing is you can choose by, if you watch movies and you read and you like those things, then you can be a writer. All you have to do is take what you like things that you like. You can either even take that and I don't know if I want to call it repurpose it, but say,
Copy.
oh,
Yeah.
I like, yeah, because that's what people say. Copy. Still, I forgot the quote, but it's like still like an artist or whatever. Still, it's some famous
Right.
person. Yeah. I think it was another artist that did it, but you
His
still,
name's Austin Kleon. He has a book called Steal Like an Artist.
yeah. So you basically um can look at someone and say, okay, I like what they're doing, and it's similar to what I want to do, and say I'm gonna take that idea and use it for my own idea, but then embellish the story to make it more mine. You can do that. I would say that you can actually create the story because you have an idea. When you create these characters, you had a story for the characters in your head. The thing is you may not be able to clearly uh, write it out, but all you have to do is just like how Jeremy said, just write out little snippets of what you think the story is going to start at. You got to, just like how King Glow said, you got a beginning part of the story, a middle, and an end. Right now, you can either start at the beginning, you can start at the middle, or you can start at the end and work your way backwards. You can say what is the idea that I have for this character, and what journey you want to take them on, and say that, okay, right now the first initial journey is I'm gonna put them in this situation, and either that situation will be resolved, it's not going to be resolved, and you can do that in one one page, 3 panels, or however you want to do it. But just say right now, so like how you take characters and you put them in situations. Put that character that you want in the story in a situation, and then you can build a story around that.
Yeah. I mean, I got you. I think like the way I can explain my story is uh uh, uh two detectives um are are trying to deal with a series of murders that have been happening in Baltimore City. That's about it so
All
far.
right. That's plenty. That's
Right.
that's all
No,
you
that was it.
need.
Yeah. Yeah, that was all that's the only way that I can explain it without revealing the story. You get what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
that's the only way
And
I
then
can
the
do it.
only thing I would add to that is with the string of murders, what is the thing that's causing the conflict in that murders? Like what is the possible thing that's causing that may prevent them from resolving those murders? That would probably be your antagonist or the crux of the story, and then you can have that either be the whole part that they have to go through for the whole duration, whether it's uh, one book, 2 books, a whole series of books, or it can just be for that particular
A one
instance.
shot.
It can be situational, how like they do with TV series where they have
Right.
a situation that happens every week, and it's all dealing around that. Because I think they had a I don't know if they have a crime. I think they have a crime TV series like that where they deal with a situation every week. I don't know if I can remember the name of it.
That is almost every crime
Yeah,
show
yeah, on
that is
TV
on
right
television.
now, right? But
Yeah.
Ever.
because I think it's gonna be like a one shot. That's why I'm like, because I think as far as like what I want to happen is like it's gonna be like a series of stuff that's gonna be happening in Baltimore to the point where it's gonna be resolved in that book. So like I'm in my head, I'm thinking like, maybe if it's gonna be graphic novel, whatever, I think I told myself maybe 150 pages to 200 or something like that, because I wanted, but then like, because I really wanted to like this, I really wanted to struggle through this. I wanted to struggle through it, but at the same time I wanted to have something completed, so
Yeah.
like, so I, like I said,
It
I got
almost sounds like a whodunit to me because
right,
it reminds
yeah,
me
a
of
little bit.
when you used to have at the end of a book when I was growing up as a kid. In the back of the book, it'll have, like we was talking about last week, like a cliffhanger. It's like, okay, on the next episode,
Right.
and then on the next episode they got to resolve this, where they start out with this panel, and this panel might be like somebody in shock or somebody in this pose, and it may be like a whodunit pose. I don't know if you guys remember those covers where they had like these covers or something happen, like it may be an outline in chalk or something,
Right.
or it'll be something in the panel, and then at the end they'll have something similar to that at the end of the book that you have to then go. And they used to do that to try to
Right.
keep people to go in, because the comics, you have to go in to the new, you have to go in and buy a comic every week to actually keep going with the story. So that's what it kind of reminds me of. So that's why I said something that you can do is a situational thing too, that you can probably do in a short story.
Because I'm trying to right now. I'm like trying to figure out that whole. Like that's like what you broke down was good, because I was like, maybe throughout the book. I mean, because I could write it in a way where the book could be broken up into, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 separate books, whatever. But I can have, like, I guess I don't know, like what they call those, like when the ending, when you get to like a weird ending or something like that, and then move on to the next set of books or something like that, or like I said, yeah, cliffhanger. There you go. And I was just trying to, like, I know I was struggling, but like I was gonna but I can, again, like I said, I could do that in the book, and then, or and then I again, like I said, I want to do like a one shot, so it could be set up in a way throughout the book, like for for a cliffhanger for each whatever, and just keep the story going, whatever. But I just in my heart, I want to be able to complete at least up between like 150, maybe 200, like something like just a graphic novel, like a complete book. Even if I have to lessen it, whatever, like to like maybe like just 50 pages to 100 or something like that.
Well, don't forget, in like in the late 80s, early 90s, Marvel was doing all those Marvel graphic novels.
Right, the big joints.
48, but they were just 48 pages.
Okay, word.
2 issues, 2 comic issues. That's it.
Yeah.
So honestly, you could, and that is something that I struggle with.
Right.
Is trying to get back to me writing, like, instead of, I keep writing these graphic novel length stories. What I want to do is write a one shot or maybe a 2-part story that tells a complete issue, and then write another one with the same character. I want to do what Mignola is doing with Hellboy. Like, the Hellboy model where he's just doing like 2-issue or 4-issue or just collections of one shots.
I never read Hellboy like that.
Shit. Son, get your ass to a library. You ain't got to come out of pocket for it.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know.
Amar, have you read any Hellboy?
Not any Hellboy, but
you know what? This stream is over. I'm done with y'all.
Man, that's crazy. Well, yeah.
No, but for real,
that ain't right. That ain't right.
Any library worth its salt will have some Hellboy comics you can read, and a lot of them are 4-issue miniseries, but then there's a bunch that are just collections of short stories. And Mignola has mastered coming in, giving you a premise, letting you get a taste of who the character is, and resolving the premise in, like, he can do it in 8 pages. He can do it in a single issue, and he can do it in 4 issues. Like, he's the master. I mean, I wouldn't say that he's the master, but what I'm saying is when you think of examples, I'm sure Mignola has plenty of comic book writers that he would cite where he learned his storytelling techniques from. But that aside, when you think of a model for an indie creator who is short on time and you ain't got time to write Lord of the Rings. Mignola shows you how to be efficient and economical with your storytelling, and he does it in the art, which is amazing, but I don't think he gets enough credit for his writing.
Oh, believe me, I'm gonna be using a whole bunch of heavy inks.
Yeah, I have another idea too. Do you watch any TV series that's similar to the idea that you have?
That's crazy. Like, I don't necessarily watch a lot of cop shows, but because my mom does, she got me down there. I'm sitting down there watching like Law and Order with her or whatever and stuff like. She's like,
okay, well, Law and Order, that's one of the series, and then I think they got either criminal something. Mine's, I don't know.
Some Vision or something, some Division
Mhm.
or something like that.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
got quite a few of those. I would look at just, you don't have to look at a lot of them. I'll look at a few of those and then just say, you know what, I'm gonna look at that and see what they do for an episode.
I
And
got
then
the
if I
beat, man. I believe me. I got the beat because I'm telling you, I'll be really sitting there like in the morning when I come home from work. That's my mom. She's sitting though. She's retired. She's sitting. She's watching.
SUV,
Right. Yeah. There you go. And I'm just, and I'll get my breakfast, whatever. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching episodes. I'll be cracking on the episode because I already got the beat. I already know how it's going to jump off or who's going to be the person or the killer or who they got to go after or whatever. And like, so believe me, I watched enough of them with her, so
yeah,
like,
because I have a
but I've been watching. I'm not even gonna cut you off, but I've been watching like a lot of like older stuff like Rockford File. uh Not, I haven't seen like Columbo, but like Rockford Files. It's kind of like Rockford Files, like just to get
Rockford Files, Columbo.
right there. You go. Right, yeah.
I know. You know what? We don't have Peacock anymore because
Beretta.
we got tired of paying for subscriptions. But Poker Face is an amazing modern crime story done in one.
Or
mystery.
Perry Mason.
Yeah, there you go.
Like stuff like that. Yeah.
All right, so guys, we gotta wrap it up here because we have gone way long. And Dylan, even though Dylan busted his ass to get stuff into the Discord, he said, you know what, it's cool if we look at him next week. And I appreciate your patience, Dylan. We'll get into this and we'll talk about this next week as well. But we're gonna wrap it up here, bring it in for a landing. And I just need to go through and work out my thumbnails more. Like I was pretty happy with a lot of the thumbnails, but even with this, I was thinking, what if I pull back even farther? What if the opening shot is like this? Yeah. Like a tiny little palace on top of a massive mountain, and the clouds are all below the palace.
Yo, that's what you should. I think, you should do like a low. Like almost like it's because I'm like I went to school for animation. Like I could just see you like having like the clouds on one panel, like and the next panel you zooming up and you can see all of a sudden you start seeing them out, and then when the further and then I guess like the last panel you can see like when you zooming into like to the temple, whatever, like maybe a 3-shot. I mean that's a lot, but if you just want to do that and then.
Well, the thing is, what I'm thinking here is doing a 2-shot and going from here to close enough, because here you're not really going to be able to see that it's a Greek palace. Whereas before, I was kind of set it up where it's like you're panning from clouds to the to the palace, and instead of panning, I think that I'm going to treat it like a zoom. Okay. So you're going from way out, but really giving you a sense of scale to closer and seeing that it's a palace. A massive palace on top of a mountain. So when you start by seeing how tiny this is, you're like, oh, wow. And even this, I'm looking and I'm feeling like maybe Mount Olympus needs like some grounds around the palace. Like even this might be too big. The little square that's on top might be too big. But
yeah, I think even sort of like a fisheye sort of view, or I can't remember the view. I don't know if it's a French, I forgot the name of it, but it's sort of like it's turned at an angle. It's sort of like you're looking at it at an angle where it makes it even more wide at the bottom and small at the top. And then you can cut to the close up, like you were saying, of it if you want to, or just go straight to the scene where they're inside, where because the angle is going to make it look like they're in the heavens anyway, because it's going to be so dramatic.
Are you familiar with the filmmaker David Lean?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Have you ever seen Lawrence of Arabia?
No, I should. Isn't it like 4 Hour Movie or something like that?
Well, Lawrence of Arabia, David Lean, he's known for making Lawrence of Arabia is his most famous film, but he's known for doing really wide panoramic shots, like the Coen brothers, Steven Spielberg, David Lynch. Like so many filmmakers are influenced by his wide opening shots. I mean, I think even Kurosawa would say to some degree he's influenced by David Lean. So that's kind of what I'm going for here, is even though it's a square shot as opposed to a widescreen horizontal panel, I'm trying to go for that distance and scale as opposed to a fisheye. A fisheye, you need to have things close enough to the frame to really get that sense of distortion, because when you're looking at something really, really wide, a fisheye doesn't give you that effect. And what I'm looking for is something that's really, really
I don't know if French
back.
dolly is maybe it's French dolly. I'm trying to think of the
take a
it's
look
not
at
bird's
David.
eye.
Do a Pinterest search for David Lean and take a look at the shots that he does.
David Lean, okay.
But on that note, I am gonna wrap things up here. And Kingsland Fitness is like 2-page spread. It's like King here. The challenge for this entire project is that I'm trying to design it so it will work well for both mobile devices and when I do it in print.
Right.
So a lot of the normal visual storytelling techniques that we would use, even my page composition, I'm doing things either in 6 panel or 9 panel grids. I'm really it's a lot more of a puzzle and a challenge, and that's the reason why when I was doing the past couple of weeks, I was taking my old comics and reformatting them to a vertical format, because I feel like that's going to inform the storytelling and page composition decisions I'm going to make here.
Right.
And I will tell you that this is why a lot of people are just like, I'm sticking with print. I don't give a damn about digital, because it really does take away a lot of the cool page composition techniques that we grew up with. If you grew up reading comics, it's a whole different ballgame to try and compose shots so that on a device where you're scrolling either horizontally or vertically to create a seamless effect, and then to try and design work for that will still look good in print is a whole nother challenge into itself.
Right.
And it's like, I can't do things the easy way. I always have to just make things harder.
No, I feel
But
just like me. Like I sat there and scanned all my images, because like I'm so used to sitting at the computer. Like, I could have just took a picture like Amar had mentioned earlier, but like I wanted to get all that stuff in there, like all the like sketches that I have laying around in my house. I just wanted to scan them all and whatever, and just
I just took a picture of it faster.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I could have did that and put it on Discord, but I was like, no, I'm gonna get this work, because I'm like,
it looked nice. I appreciate the effort, but
Yeah.
you know what? Again, this is all process work. So quick and dirty is how.
Oh, it looks dirty.
No, they look good. They look good sketches. They look like you took your time, scanned them in, made them like that. Because sometimes people will send images and it'll be like a screenshot from like a weird wonky angle, look like the fisheye that Amar was talking about.
I have
Except
a scanner.
I'm like, I can't see what you're drawing. I don't know what this is.
Right, I have a scanner. Again, you remember I went to school. I went to like we've been learning how to scan and stuff. I've been probably doing it for almost 20, 25 years now. I should at least know how to do that. Yeah, it's all good. Appreciate it though. Kingsland
Fitness is digging the power of the grid. But all right, guys. So let me switch the camera to the big right here. So for everybody else that's watching, the voice chat is something that I'm doing just for the patrons. So if you want to hop in and get in on the actual convo, hop on in. You're more than welcome. Head on over to patreon.com/Jeremy. It's patreon.com/GERIMI. As little as $2 a month gets you in the door.
And I hit your like button too. I did.
I appreciate it. Yeah, guys. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel or come across it, hit that subscribe button. If you know someone else who would enjoy these kind of live streams, hit that share button. If you'd like to get a free digital sketchbook, work in progress animated GIFs, blog posts about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what's inspiring me creatively, you can sign up for my free newsletter at substack.com/@Jeremy. And if you'd like to purchase physical copies of my comic books or free digitally on Kindle, you can go to amazon.jeremy.net. You can pick up books like my first graphic novel, Eye of the Gods. It is a standalone psychological thriller about a man cursed with visions he cannot control. You can pick up my most recent project, Morning Star. It is a retelling of Lucifer's fall from heaven as a Western. It's an 8-issue series. Volume 1 contains issues 1 through 4. Volume 2 contains the conclusion, issues 5 through 8. Both volumes have extensive back matter, character designs, thumbnails, page layouts, photo reference. I basically show you how I put the entire comic book together in this book, in both volumes. So you can check those out. And you can also pick up Wound, The Art of Jeremy Burley, Volume 1. Has a collection of all of my some of my favorite illustrations in there. For the comics, if you go to the homepage of my YouTube channel, you can scroll down to flip throughs, and there are book flip throughs of all of the comics. You can see what's inside before you pick it up. So again, Amar and Herman, thank you for joining, for sharing so much of your process and what you guys are going through in your work.
Appreciate it. It's all good. I'm just, what do I want to show next week? I'm like, I guess, like I said, I continue to work on those, just to have something to do to keep me drawing, but while at the same time, I'm like, I need to work on my story.
Yeah. Well, one thing I was going to tell you, something that helped me a lot with my writing. Have you ever had an idea for an image and you did not have time to draw, to even do a sketch? So instead you maybe wrote down like a couple of sentences to just describe what it is, the drawing. Okay. Treat writing like that. You're sketching with words.
I hear you. It's like I just have to. It's like the whole thing with, like, when I'm drawing, like, like, or you doing 3D. It's like I can't see 3D, even though I've done it. And like, it's for some reason I just can't pick it up. And I've seen people, like, they make models and stuff like it ain't nothing. And it took, I almost died trying to make one model of, like, a character that I made, like, just because I just don't get it. Even though I'm drawing in 3D and sketching it, it's like, I don't get the concept of learning how to do 3D, even though I want to learn it. For years, it's just like I struggle with that. Even with, like you said, with the writing or whatever. I just can't see writing as, like, doing art. It's just I see writing as, like, so foreign. Like,
I will challenge you to reverse engineer it. This is your homework.
Right.
This is your homework.
Oh, okay. Man, come on.
This is your homework. Well, because this homework I think is pretty easy, because you don't have to. Let me flip back over to the Discord. Let me go back over here real quick. And I know I already gave my whole outro speech, and now I'm like, yeah, let's go back in. But that's how ish goes sometimes. All right. Share screen. So it does not matter which image. It can be any of the images that you shared this week. Doesn't matter which one. Go through, and I know you kind of did it on this page, the Spock one, but take any of the pages. In fact, maybe you shouldn't do the Spock one because you already kind of did this.
Okay.
But take any one of the images that you posted and just write a one-sentence description of what that sketch is.
Okay. Like some of those, whatever. Like, because I don't even
Yeah, just literally take the page, and it doesn't even matter if it's a page with a jumble of stuff that's unrelated. If it's unrelated, it doesn't have to be a sequential story, but it just has to be, if you've got, I
mean, I could use that. I can just, I can, right, and then I could just put, like, the text or whatever on the side next to the image, whatever, something like that. You don't even need to put it. All I'm saying is there's 8 images on here. Right, I can
write 8 one-sentence descriptions of the image. That's it. Because the idea of doing that there, that's reverse engineering the writing process. Because once you do that, you just write descriptions of what's on in the image. That's all writing is you doing the description first. And the description part, honestly, the writing, believe it or not, it's there to support your sketching. The writing is there to support your artwork. The idea is, instead of sitting and looking at the blank screen and trying to figure out what I'm going to draw, you might say, a low angle shot of the character, like, whatever it is the description is, you can kind of work out in words. Do I want it to be a high angle or do a low angle? Do I want this character to be muscular or do I want it to be skinny? You can just think out some of what you want to draw. That's almost what it is. It's pre-drawing. That's all the writing is. It's pre-drawing. It's just describing what it is you're going to do. So it's there to help you.
Thank you.
and part of this, the whole thing is that I'm leaning into what helped me. The more I was able to associate the writing process to drawing, the easier it became for me. So while I'm suggesting all of these things, and I think these will help you, play with it. Maybe you need to build your own writing process, because the one mistake people have is thinking that there's one way to do it. And the truth is every single writer needs to build their own toolbox. All of our brains work differently. All of us compose stories differently. All of us, have things that make us more efficient or less efficient.
Right.
So it's kind of like you got to take, maybe I'm recommending some stuff. You might take some of those recommendations. Amar may recommend some stuff. You got to take some of his recommendations. You might read some stuff from some writing books, take some of those. And the idea is you take them and you try them out. And you see which ones work well, which ones feel wonky to you. You may try something that gets you the result, but you just don't enjoy the process. Then that's still not it. You got to keep looking. And the idea is you try stuff out, particularly because, like you said, you haven't been writing. So all of it's going to feel awkward. All of it feels awkward simply because you haven't done it before. I'm going to quote my coach. When I ran track and field in college, the sprinter John Smith was our coach, and he's a world record holder. And one of the things he told us, like, well, I remember in practice one day, he was one of our team captains, was like the world champion in the 200 meter, and then coach was tweaking his performance. So I'm like, adjust your body like this, hold your chest like that, do this. And he said, when I do that, it feels awkward. And he turned to him and he said, good form feels awkward, because most people are not doing things in a way that works at optimal efficiency. So when you start doing something and it like actually starts working, it feels unnatural because you haven't been doing the thing that works yet. So everything's going to feel weird as you're trying stuff out, but then you're going to do something that gives you the results. You're like, well, this feels weird, but it's giving me results. I'm going to keep doing it. And after a while, you start developing tech. That's what technique is.
Right.
And it's true in art. It's true in writing. It's true in athletics. It's true in everything. Right. So lean on try a bunch of different things and lean into the things that give you the results you want.
Right.
All right. Okay. On that note, and again, I see a lot of great comments here at the end.
Yeah. I told him, he was like, man, Herman, if you get on the bus like I do, you have a ton. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Let's see here. And Kingsville Fitness says that the images, the imagining what the characters are saying. My boy Gary Hodges says, right, it feels wrong because you've been doing it wrong. That is exactly what I was saying.
Right.
Byron says, people on the bus be wild.
Wild, man. Like, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's how they say, how you new young people say it be some crazy work on the bus. Some that crazy work.
Okay, all right, guys. This has been a fun one. We got to get out of here. That's it for now. Go be creative.
Thanks a lot. Y'all have a good one. Peace.